Now let's move to City Council, Ward 5, running as an independent. Would you please welcome Kajabi, I hope I got that right, sir, Beverly.
My name is Kabaji Beverly. I'm here on behalf of the Ward 5 Change Team. I'd like to thank the Council of Neighborhoods and the Neighborhood Association of Ward 5 and all of you for having me tonight. For those of you that know me know that I love history and I love numbers. So I'm going to get straight to the point and give you 3 points and a brief history about Ward 5. Ward 5 is one of the largest, if not the largest ward in the city. Ward 5 is in need of change to improve our quality of life and that of our children. Number 1, we are in need of fair and balanced city resources, services, planning, and development. What we mean by this is, if it's good for one part of the city, then it should be good for all parts of the city. No community should have to suffer at the benefit of another. We must love our neighbor. Number 2, we are in need of sidewalks, community centers, and indoor recreational facilities for our youth. The majority of our children walk to school, and a lack of safety puts their lives at risk. A lack of positive environments only lead them an alternative. And in an effort to assist our great teachers in the Hattiesburg public school system, we must share in this responsibility. Our children are too precious and they deserve better. We must love our neighbors. As a community, we must get back to our most fundamental belief that we must love our neighbor as ourselves. And Ward 5 is in need of much love, especially the Palms Crossing community. This brings me to my third and final point. Palms Crossing is a historic community rich in Black history and Hattiesburg history. Palms Crossing was the base for all civil rights activity in the 5th Congressional District and to the freedom schools and home to several of our nation's great civil rights leaders. Palms Crossing was instrumental in helping to shape what we call our hub city, but Palms Crossing has gotten the bitter end of the stick since it was annexed in the city in 91 and 94. As a community, we promise to do our part to bring in change, but we need a leader that is willing to speak up for the issues and concerns of our community and who is willing to work together with the citizens, churches, community leaders, and city officials to change in our community. And I'm that leader. And we are here today and ready for change so that the city of Hattiesburg as a whole is a place that we all love to call home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beverly. Running as an independent in Ward 5 for the City Council, Rosemary Harrell.
Good evening. I'm Rosemary Montgomery Harrell. I am a resident of Ward 5. I have been chosen to represent Ward 5 by my community. I am married to Jimmy Harrell Sr., and we are the proud parents of 3 children and 8 grandchildren. I have been driven to work with our community through the efforts of over 20 years of experience in working with our community through our teams. I began in 1987 a teen pregnancy prevention program to work with teens in our community to help them get back in school after they had a child or help them through the delivery. And that began in 1987. In 2011, I began an elderly program for the seniors in our community that are at home alone and left by themselves to function by themselves. So there's a great need in our community that we uplift our elderly and our children. Just a couple of weeks ago, during the tornado, I ran into several residents that didn't know what to do, where to go, which direction to go in. After the storm, one mother said, I'm here and I got 6 of my grandchildren, what do I do? So we need a plan, not only for Ward 5, but for the city as a whole, to explain to parents what they need to do and what direction they need to go in, which includes the Palms Crossing area and Ward 5 as a whole. So today I am asking for your support in providing an education not only for them, but work as your representative of Ward 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrell. And finally, running as a Democrat for Ward 5, Henry Naylor.
Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see all of you, and it's good to be here, especially with all these wonderful folks to my right. As Randy has said, I am Henry Naylor, candidate for Ward 5 here in the city of Hattiesburg. I'd like to thank the Council of Neighborhoods for all that you have done to make this forum possible. You already know that I am a city councilman, as I've already stated, at Ward 5. Just want to quickly tell you a little bit briefly about myself for those of you who perhaps do not know. Hattiesburg is my home, lifelong resident here. I went to the public and the county schools. Graduated at Hattiesburg High, went on to Pearl River Community College, and then, of course, graduated at USM. Worked as with one of the planning and development districts here in the city of Hattiesburg for 10 years. In 1988, myself and one other person was called to the city of Hattiesburg by former Mayor G.D. Williamson, and the purpose for us being employed was to establish neighborhood watch groups and neighborhood associations. Many of the associations and the neighborhood watch groups, I'm happy to say, you all are a part of right now and are doing great things. I enjoy doing that. As a result of doing that for almost 9 years, it came to pass by some of the people of the city of Hattiesburg that perhaps I might consider looking at some other positions. As a result of some people deciding not to run for elected office, I decided to run for city council and been there now for 3 terms. One of the things that I want to talk about are some of the positive things that have taken place. Everything that's related to planning, rezoning, those are some of the things that we have done. When the city of Hattiesburg back in the 80s and 90s became one of America's most livable cities, All-American City Award, those were as a result of you, residents throughout the city, in those associations and neighborhood watch groups. It was because of what you were doing through work that the planning department in the city had done. I'm prepared to continue all the things that we have started. I'm aware of some of the areas where we still have weaknesses, and I'm constantly doing things to address those concerns. Palmer's Crossing certainly is one of those areas, but I will match any ward in the city of Hattiesburg to my ward in Ward 5, and I don't think I'm hurting at all. Now, do we need more work? Yes. I appreciate the support throughout this campaign, and I also want to thank my opponents for your willingness to serve as well.
Have you made a decision about the waste treatment system, whatever it is? What were the determining factors for you? Moving to Ward 5, Mr. Beverly.
This is not the first time that it's taking place, as I agree with them, that Hattiesburg is not the only city in the country that has faced wastewater challenges. I too find it premature to really comment on this, but there are options already on the table. And working together to develop a long-term sustainability plan will not only prevent air pollution and improve the air quality, but we have to develop and promote other green projects throughout the city for long-term, so we won't be faced with other challenges like this again.
Thank you. Ms. Harrell?
I too cannot judge what's being done already, but I know we do have a problem. We know it needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed as soon as possible. And we also have to look at how it will be done, the cost of it, how much the citizens will have to pay in order to get it done. So at this time,
Mr. Naylor?
Yes, as we speak right now, research is still being done as to what may be the best solution or the best approach to handling this problem. Obviously, there are a lot of things we're still looking at. Some council members have, as they have already said, tend to lean toward one approach compared to the other. I'm going to say that I'm still in the middle right now until I see more information. I think if it hasn't already been said, the mechanical treatment is definitely appears to be the most expensive. And so even if it does be the one that's chosen, we have to look at the cost. So again, you know, it's still being looked at as we speak. So until that time, I'm not in a position right now to say definitely which one or the other that I would consider.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
excuse me, Randy, can I just finish right quick? One thing I am concerned about, though, is that I have some concern, and I've expressed this to council members, that we are still having a lot of executive sessions, and I think we need to get out of that and start thinking in terms of opening these discussions up more to the public. I know some of it is legal, but I still question whether all the meetings that we are having needs to be executive sessions. So I'm certainly in favor of, even before then, that those meetings be open up to the public.
All right, just another question along those lines, and we're going to start this time with Mr. Nader and go the other way. What is your plan to engage citizens in sincere dialogue as opposed to a twice-a-month public forum with no elected official accountability? Mr. Nader?
Opening citizens up. Well, if you heard me in the beginning, when I was first introduced, I'm in full support of that. I have always been in favor of citizens input, citizen involvement, and I have always been an advocate of that, and have talked about that to my colleagues. I refer back to when I first got involved in city government. My job was to establish neighborhood watch groups and neighborhood associations, groups and associations that are currently operating right today. And so that's just natural for me to want to make sure that when decisions are made, whether they be large or small, they are started from the bottom up rather than the top down. And I think any of you who know me can attest to my doing so and that being my approach.
Ms. Harrell?
I definitely would like to have more meetings in our community and more meetings, open meetings for the city council.
Yes, the question is, what is your plan to engage citizens in sincere dialogue as opposed to a twice-a-month public forum? Mr. Beverly?
Well, I don't think it's good that the only time we see our representatives are during election time in our community. So my thing is, I believe that it shouldn't be always where the people have to come there. The representative have to go to them, sit down with those individuals and discuss with them exactly what's going on, finding out about their issues and concerns, and then turning around and then allowing them the opportunity to get up and really voice their opinions in front of all of the representatives in order for us to get a better understanding of the different communities so there can be a balance in our community.
I've got several cards up here, and this one seems to really stand out. Several people wanted to know, what do you plan to do to address Hattiesburg's public safety concerns? Mr. Beverly, Ward 5.
Before we make a decision to go and build another police department, we have to look at what current city employees are getting paid also before we try to go spend $15 million on a facility. Because what most of the employees are bringing in is not enough to take care of their families based on the economic times we're in right now. I do believe that it's important that our police officers have a police headquarters that will benefit them. And I also believe that substations in places like Palmer Crossing and other communities will be beneficial, but community relations and accountability is the important things for public safety.
Ms. Harrell?
Regarding the safety in our communities, you know, people always look at the top, what's up here. Our council has to work together in our community, and people see you working together. They're going to be able to come down and work together within the community. This is part of our problems when you see that you mentioned safety. Our children doing what they feel like you are doing. When we argue, when we do different things in our meetings, and they think that's okay. I can go do that because I see Ms. Harrell do it. So we have to look at what we're doing and how we are working together, and that will channel down to the rest of our communities, and they will begin to work together. The police department is definitely in a bad shape. If you walk past the front door, you will see that it's leaking. It has to be something done. Now, how we make those steps, what we do is to find out what, when, where, and how. How are we going to be able to do this? when we need to do this, how soon we need to do this, and then that way we can find out exactly the cost and work on it.
And Mr. Nathan.
If the facilities that our officers are currently working in is having a negative effect on them doing their job in the manner in which we all think it should be done according to the guidelines, according to all their duties and responsibilities, obviously, yes, we need to look at that. If we can see this stuff in existence where it is water, it is molded or mildewed or whatever, it's obvious. We do need to look at it. Now, with that being said, we also have to take into account what the cost will be to this, be it renovated, be it a new facility or whatever. But obviously, if it's affecting their being effective on their job, we need to look at it. So, that's basically what it is. Now, I also think, though, that it's very important in terms of public safety. We need to go out of our way to make sure that we are hiring the best qualified officers that are possible. They need to have our support and all the other things that come with that. I certainly think that we have one of the best police chiefs throughout South Mississippi. And I was able to research his background all the way from Jackson State to the city of Atlanta during the Clinton administration when he did special work. And I tell you, you all will be surprised some of the things that this guy has done. And I think he's just super. And I think we need to let some of those decisions, though, be made by him more so than me as a council person having to try to monitor every little step he makes, or even the administration perhaps having to try to make monitor every step that he or she, if that be the case, if it was a female, would have to make. So I think it's just started with hiring the best possible person in place. But I think we have that. But I think we do need to be watchful in making sure that he has that latitude to feel free to go out and hire who he thinks as the best qualified person to take over these particular divisions that his command team may be at any given time.
Thank you, Mr. Nathan. I'm going to give our candidates an opportunity for a 2-minute closing. And I will be real strict on the 2 minutes. I will give you, I'll say 15 when you have 15 seconds left. So we give each candidate a 2-minute closing statement. Now let's move to Ward 5 and Mr. Beverly.
I'd like to thank you for having me. I'd like to thank the citizens of Ward 5. First off, I'd just like to say on behalf of Ward 5, we understand that it takes a lot of planning and development for a city to grow. So we appreciate what you did on 98 West. We appreciate what you did in the historic neighborhoods. We appreciate what you're doing in Midtown right now. But the only thing we received in Ward 5 as of late is a jail. And it makes no sense that there's not enough balance in this city to where we can have the same kind of economic development in Ward 5. We deserve better. Our children deserve better. Our community deserves better. And with your vote on June the 4th, I'll be spearheading a change campaign that you just did, to where there's a balance in city government, there's a balance in city resources, city contracts and subcontracts that's reflective of our community. Because right now what we have is not reflective of the community that we live in. And so I'm providing Beverly, and with your vote on June the 4th, we'll make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beverly. Ms. Harrell, you have 2 minutes, please.
Okay, Ward 5 has been in deep trouble for a long time. We have the Bernardino Park. It hadn't been done anything with it for a while. We have different areas that just sitting there. There's no recreation for our children. We have Palmer's Crossing need lighting just to drive down the street. So there's a lot in that area that needs to be taken care of. We need a change in Ward 5. I, Rose Harrell, hope to deliver and represent Ward 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrell. Mr. Nader, 2 minutes, please, sir.
Thank you. Thank y'all again for the opportunity. When I first took the office of councilman for Ward 5, prior to that, the first thing, as I've already told you to do, is talk to your people. Let them tell you what they want, rather than tell them what you want. You know, those people, many of them, not only do they tell me, but they also prioritize the items that was on their mind. Now, when we say what is not in existence, when I took office as councilman, we didn't have over 500 affordable homes in Hattiesburg in Ward 5. We didn't have those homes. We didn't have a lot of multi-family dwelling in the proper place in Ward 5. But to have affordable homes, that's something that people can put their head under. I mean, they can make family decisions, they can plan on employment, they can plan on community, they can plan on raising a family. I mean, if you don't see that as being something real, you know, I have to respectfully disagree with that. Now, have we done all that we want to do? Have I been able to address all the things that constituents have said? They won't, absolutely not. But they know that. But they also know that things, according to them, are much better than what it was when we started out. So my daughter asked me, Dad, how do you think you're going to do this time? I said, well, I tell you this, if I haven't done things that people can see, I shouldn't be running in the first place. But I can tell each one of you out there, up here, or anywhere else, I can actually come take a ride with me. And I can show you some of the specific things that have been done in the area of the quality of life for Hattiesburg. Housing is big. That's where it starts. Having a roof over kids' heads. And I'm talking about not just private sector, but the affordable housing that's in existence. So again, I challenge you to come right on out and let it be known if that's the way you feel. But take a ride with me.
Thank you, Mr. Nader.
Thank you, and I appreciate your support.
I want to say thank you to the candidates. Let's give our candidates a big round of applause. I also want to thank the League, the Hattiesburg Council of Neighborhoods for sponsoring this candidate forum. Very good information passed out tonight, and I'm sure the candidates will be up here to shake hands and to talk to you if you have other questions. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming, and be sure and vote. Good night.
I want to give our moderator